Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined again by Ellen Rosenblum, Oregon's Attorney General. Ellen, good to see you again. How are you today?
It's great to be back. I'm doing well, thank you.
Very good. So tell us, what are you doing down here in Southern Oregon?
Well, first of all, it was the last weekend of the Ashland Play Series, and so I have to tell you that definitely served a very important anchor role. But I'm down here with some of my team, with the head of my criminal justice section, Darren Tweed, and also with Aaron Knott, the head of our legislative work, our director who spends lots of time over at the Capitol working on our policy issues. What's most important to us is being down in Southern Oregon and really having the opportunity to visit with folks down here, find out what the issues are that we can help with, in particular in the criminal justice arena. I don't have to tell anybody down here that there's some real issues in terms of limited resources, and we want to, not that we have all the resources in the world, but we want to be able to help provide what we do have to work together to collaborate with local law enforcement on some really important public safety issues. In particular, we work in the areas of organized crime, trying to eliminate some of the drug cartel influences in Southern Oregon. We have an active Internet Crimes Against Children program, which deals with child pornography and some of the really insidious crimes that are involved in that regard. And we really work to try to assist district attorneys throughout the state and local law enforcement to the extent possible. So that's a big part of what we're doing down here. I'm meeting with my own office down here. We have presence with child advocacy, working on behalf of abused and neglected children to ensure their safety. We represent the Department of Human Resources, and so we have an office in Medford. And we also have one of our 12 child support offices. We collect $1 million a day in Oregon in child support on behalf of families and children. So that's a huge part of what the Department of Justice does, and a lot of people aren't aware of that. And then finally, I always carry with me our consumer tips. We have a very active consumer protection. You're handing them out on the street corners, I imagine? Well, I'd like to be, or at least letting people know how we can help protect our most vulnerable against scams and frauds and that sort of thing. And along those lines, we're hoping to bring our Scam Jam to Medford. We had a very successful program with almost 1,000 participants last week in Portland to try to educate our most vulnerable as to how they can avoid being scammed and defrauded. It's just so important, particularly our senior citizens.
Absolutely. All right, very good. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Oregon's Attorney General, Ellen Rosenblum. Ellen, tell us, what's been the biggest surprise for you since you've taken office?
Well, I planned on loving the job, and I do, but I had no idea really quite what a big job it was, and even how many offices we had. I discovered that we have 7 offices just in Salem. Wow. Let alone the 2 that I just mentioned earlier here. Wow. So it's really a huge job. There's 1,300 employees, 9 divisions, and there's just so much going on all the time that there's quite a steep learning curve. And I guess I was thinking I was better prepared even for the job than I was. But I think my 36 years of working in the vineyards of the law as a lawyer, as a prosecutor, and as a judge have served me pretty well. So really, once you've been a judge for 22 years in this state, I'm not sure anything could surprise you as much as the kind of things that walk in and day out in the courtroom. But I just love this job, and maybe that's part of it, is just being surprised at how much you can continue to enjoy a legal career. And I think it's because I just have great people to work with, including the 2 gentlemen I brought with me today, our legislative director and our criminal justice division director. Very good.
So something we've, of course, been talking about the last month, the Affordable Care Act and Cover Oregon, all these things happening with that. Are we seeing scams in that area yet here in Oregon?
Well, we were concerned about that enough that we sent out a scam alert in advance of Cover Oregon going live. And so far, I don't think that we actually have got evidence that there are, in fact, scams here in Oregon. But in other states, we have heard that there are those. There are always going to be, whenever there's an opportunity, there's always going to be those folks out there who are pretty smart and pretty savvy and have ways of letting people think that they are, somebody that in fact they aren't. And so we have to be really careful whenever there's an online program such as this. So we're keeping a close watch. Fortunately, I think the people can feel comfortable when they contact Cover Oregon that it is in fact Cover Oregon. Sure. But you should still be careful. You should not, no one should be soliciting you, no one should be charging you. You should be able to contact Cover Oregon and get help for free with signing up. And I know there have been some issues and difficulties, but still, nobody should be charging you who is part of the program itself. So we do warn people about that. We have what are called scam alerts, and you can sign up for those right here in this brochure and online at the Oregon Department of Justice. So if you want to be notified of what's out there, what looks like it might be harmful financially. We're here to prevent harm, both financial and physical harm. That's really what the Attorney General's office is all about. So
very good. Well, we appreciate you coming by again, Ellen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Pleasure.
for having me, Craig.
My pleasure.
Always great to be here.
Our pleasure. Thank you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.